Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Wheel of Albums. Along with my brother Adam and our friend Jack, I am Justin. What we do here on Wheel of Albums is we spin a wheel of the 1001 albums from Robert Dimery's book, 1001 Albums You Must Hear Before You Die. My brother took the wheel this week, and he spun 1997's The Fat of the Land by the Prodigy on Wheel of Albums.
You know, my initial reaction to it when I found out that's what we were listening to was kind of excitement. Enjoyed Firestarter and Breathe, and I was kind of excited to see or hear what else they had to offer, that they are way more EDM and electronic than they are where I would initially have put them, which was like the next wave of like Limp Bizkit and Marilyn Manson and Korn. So I was kind of surprised after the first listen or two.
Yeah, the Prodigies have never excited me that much, even with the big singles that hit. And it's not that I don't like Electronica or the Big Beat. The first three Chemical Brothers albums are amazing. And I like some Crystal Meth, the band, of course. That's not the drug. And also, you know, some Fatboy Slim's fun every once in a while, too. I was not looking forward to it. Keith Flint, one of the singers, felt like Johnny Rotten, like singing over top of, Electronica. I'm a fire starter. You know, it's just, after a while, it gets old.
We announced this via text group to each other, and it appeared that I was familiar with 2 songs, and then upon listening to it, I was familiar with 3, but initial reaction was, I'm going to know a couple songs, and this is not going to be my favorite record.
I feel like since this is our first foray into late 90s electronica, we should get with Professor Adam again so he could tell us a little bit more about Big Beat electronica.
Regarding the Big Beat, my question, Professor, is the Basement Jacks, Where's Your Head At, a case where that is a song that's going to surpass the prose of Smack My Bitch Up?
So let's define what big beats sound like. Big beat tracks have a sound that includes crescendos, builds, bass lines, drops, extended drum rolls, and sounds such as spoken word samples, dialogues from film and TV, additional instruments such as Middle Eastern strings or sitars, and you gotta have the Roland TB-303 synthesizer, because that is what blends and makes big beat dance electronic music what it's all about.
Class dismissed. Oh, wait, you have more? Okay.
The term has been used by the British music industry to describe music by artists such as The Prodigy, The Chemical Brothers, Fatboy Slim, The Crystal Method, Propellerheads, Basement Jacks, and Groove Armada, and that is exactly where I would put The Prodigy after listening to The Fat of the Land.
The song I'm most familiar with, and that would be Firestarter. I heard that. I think MTV played the video a lot, and just remembered it was black and white, and it looked like a campy Batman villain saying words about Firestarter and being a twisted Firestarter. The video did not, surprisingly, have that devilish imp Drew Barrymore in it, as she was in a movie called Firestarter. What I like most about the song is because it's familiarity to me. I remember hearing it in the first few times hearing it, that the Hey loop was from Art of Noise, and I always liked that Art of Noise song, and I really liked that Art of Noise video. It was nice that they give the members of the Art of Noise writing credit. They also give Kim Deal credit, which is nice. One of the guitar or bass loops that they run throughout the song.
All right, how about I go one up and one down on Fat of the Land? One up for Climatize, which is near the end of the album. I actually like the way that Keith Howlett builds that song up. The beginning that kind of is reminiscent of Won't Get Fooled Again or Baba O'Reilly with that little keyboard part that they have in those songs. That I could have used more of on Fat of the Land. What I didn't like was hearing Funky Shit by the Beastie Boys as the main and only interesting part of the song called Funky Shit. All that made me want to do is go listen to the Beastie Boys. They do it better just doing it once, not several times in a song. They put their root down.
Fat of the Land on shuffle, and went with the first song that came up, which was Diesel Power.
You got to give it up for Cool Keith from the Ultramagnetic MCs.
To be honest, it's a song that kind of shows Prodigy in a different light than what their singles would show you, which is there's rap involved. You kind of almost feel the roots of like grime rap. Here's to you, Dizzy Rascal, in this song a little bit. You can see where some inspiration from future rappers would listen to these guys and get some inspiration.
And some of the research we did was talking about how Fat of the Land was the King of the Hill in 1997, 98, and then somehow it's just simply disappeared.
All right, Jack, then which 90s movie would you pair up with the Fat of the Land, considering that?
So I'm going to pair it with something that was probably important at the time or seemed important at the time. You're not going to pull out Lethal Weapon 4, but you do want to after you listen to the Prodigy these days.
As far as 1997 films went, and thinking about forgotten ones as well, I kind of landed on two movies, and I forgot how much The Volcano and also Dante's Peak, one with Pierce Brosnan and one with Tommy Lee Jones. Just imagine Pierce Brosnan driving down a volcano, avoiding lava flowing behind him with Firestarter on the radio. Heck, let's even throw on some Fuel Power. We'll do that the moment Brosnan and co-star Linda Hamilton look into each other's eyes and see that they finally avoided the disaster of Dante's Peak. That probably would have made those movies more memorable. And maybe even made The Prodigy more fathomable.
That year, a little movie with Al Pacino and Keanu Reeves called The Devil's Advocate came out. And I think I'm pairing those two together. I think it pairs together nicely. As a PR stunt for The Prodigy, I'm putting a scene in there while Al Pacino and Keanu Reeves go to a rave. And the band is playing at that rave. And then craziness ensues. Hoo-ah! This band is fantastic. I love The Prodigy.
I'm the hand up Mona Lisa's skirt.
Hoo-ah!
All right, we'll take a look at the ratings for the Fat of the Land. Jack somehow had the highest rating for this, 5.4, Adam a 4.9 out of 4.8, for an overall rating of a flat 5.03 points. Looking at the top three songs, Firestarter was our favorite with 22 points, Breathe 19, and Smack My Bitch Up came in at 16. Our two least favorites, Fuel My Fire, along with the song I really can't pronounce, Narayan.
Decide, or at least I decide, whether or not I feel that The Fat of the Land is an album that you must hear before you die. A few of the songs, at least, seem to be, to me, cast-offs of Ministry, like Ministry's little brother, saying, "Come on, look, can't we be a little snappier?" And Al Jorgensen says, "No, you can't. I'm throwing you in the trash where you belong, you dirty little boy." If you were building your time capsule and you said, well, I'm going to have to put in some important albums, 1001 important albums, this is not going into the time capsule. This is not an album that you must hear before you die.
This is a simple answer for me. No, you must not listen to this before you die. In 1997, whenever they released the single Smack My Bitch Up, I totally was turned off by that. There's just certain things that will turn you off for a band. Like I said earlier, it's like Johnny Rotten going over electronic beats. It's very macho and masculine, like a lot of 90s music. Turned out to be later in the decade, and this would be one of the culprits that I do not like. Adam, what do you think?
And I'm going to say, nope, not a chance. Did not enjoy listening to this album at all. And where I thought I really liked Breathe and songs like Smack My Bitch Up and Firestarter still sounds good. The rest of the album just to me was kind of a snore where, the first couple minutes of each song was great and then it just got tiring. And I don't know, again, if we just had the KLF like two albums ago, so maybe I've just had enough electronic music for now, but I just did not enjoy the Fat of the Land at all. And I think there's better electronic music out there to listen to.
All right, so that's 3 nays for us. Hey, thanks again for listening to Wheel of Albums. We appreciate it. If you're watching or listening on YouTube, we'd love it if you hit the like button or comment and even the subscribe button. And if you were on Spotify, we've got a poll there. Tell us what you think. Fat of the Land, is this an album you must hear before you die? Also, give us a rating. We appreciate all that stuff. All right, who is up next? Jack is up next. Spin that wheel, Jack.
And I'm spinning the wheel because it's my turn. See what we have here. Oh, hello. You better call Mom and Dad, because Frank Zappa and the Mothers of Invention were only in it for the money on the next Wheel of Album.
And while Al Pacino, hoo-ah, enjoys the Prodigy, I myself do not.
Don't get too cocky, my boy. Whatever you do, don't ever let them see you coming.
Hoo-ah, 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 hoo-ah.
They're like the side henchmen to the Joker in the 1966 Batman show. They're not dangerous if you really looked a little bit deeper. They catch your fancy as a shiny ball might for a bit, but then it fades away, and you don't feel bad. You don't long for it. You're not reminiscing about the Prodigy, the good old days. You've moved on. You've grown. Good for you.